Hello, my name's Katie and welcome to my 31-day Move for Mind series. So the first week is all going to be about grounding and stability, so really finding that structure within the body. And we're going to kick it off with a Yin session. So this is super slow. If you've not done Yin before, we hold each posture for 2 to 3 minutes. So I would wrap up warm, get a jumper. I always keep socks on for Yin because my toes get cold, and then all I can think about is cold toes. So whatever you need to grab. I'd also, if you do have blocks, grab a couple of blocks or a pillow or a folded up blanket as well. And when you're ready, we'll begin. So starting by finding an easy seated position. This can be cross-legged, or if this is uncomfortable, you can bring the feet out in front. I find it quite helpful to sit up on a block here, just in case you are finding yourself schlumping. We don't want schlumping. So really making that connection with the ground first, finding your sitting bones. Inhale the shoulders up and away from the ears and down the back. Bringing the palms to the thighs, palms facing down for grounding. Or if you do want, you can turn the palms facing up to receive energy. You can also bring one palm on top of the other, just in your lap. Whichever option feels good for you today. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more like this, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if it feels okay to do so, I invite you to close your eyes or lower the gaze. And just coming to that place of stillness, starting to turn your gaze inward, and just letting go of anything that might have come up before you sat down. The day behind you is done. It has no purpose here. The day in front of you has yet to begin. It also has no purpose here. The only thing you need to do for the next 15 minutes is focus on your body and your breath. So really giving yourself that luxury of these few minutes just to yourself. Honouring yourself, honouring your body, honouring your mind. We're going to come through a few rounds of ratio breathing. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, pause, and exhale for a count of 4, all through the nose. So keeping the mouth closed. But to begin, we'll take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And setting up, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath. And release this pattern of breathing, taking in inhale through the nose and out through the mouth to clear. And if your eyes are still closed, opening the eyes with a soft gaze, you're going to move into our first Yin posture. So coming off the block, we're going to be finding our butterfly. So bringing the soles of the feet together, knees apart. You can either bring your feet quite close in towards the hips. This is going to get more into the hips as we fold over. Or the further away the feet are from the body, the more you're going to be able to round, and so getting more into your back. So whichever one is calling out for you today. I'm going to have my block handy. Inhale, open up through the chest first, maybe taking a slight arch in the spine. Then exhale, folding forward over the legs. So I quite like to bring my arms out in front of me here, palms facing up. And if you are down low enough, maybe bringing forehead to the brick. But the first principle of a yin practice is finding your edge. So by that I mean you're not looking for the maximum expression of the pose. We're looking for about 60 to 70% effort-wise. So if you're really struggling here, you've gone too far, back off. The second principle of yin is holding the pose. So you need to find a position that you're able to hold the pose for a long period of time. An advanced yin practice is the length of time, not if you can get your leg behind your head, and not if you're super bendy. Much more about working with your body, keeping that communication open and finding the space. So we hold the postures for a long time. So the longer that we hold for, you might find that you're able to release further, and maybe after a minute or so you can find more movement and you can find more space. But wherever you are coming to, making sure you're coming to a place of stillness, which is our third principle. So if you're finding that you're fidgeting or looking around, again, you're probably in too far, so back off. Take it back a step. We're only here for another 15 seconds or so longer. So if you do want to take the pose a little bit deeper for the last few seconds, you can. And on your next inhale, really slowly, really carefully, easing the body back up, bringing the feet flat onto the floor, knees bent, taking the hands behind the back, and maybe just moving the knees from side to side, allowing your body to assimilate what we've just done, taking a rebound pose. And from here, crossing over the feet, coming through a tabletop, tucking the toes under and sitting back onto the heels to find toe stand. So again, it can be quite nice just to rest the palms on the thighs here. Maybe take a shrug with the shoulders and make sure you're not hunching, carrying tension there. And again, if you do want to close the eyes or keep the gaze lowered here, it can be a nice way of getting introspective and shutting out the distractions from outside. Now, if you're not used to stretching your feet out, this one can get quite intense quite quickly. So never work into sharp pain. If it hurts, come out. But if you can stay with it, just really try to stay present with the sensations of the body. Sending the breath there. Almost seeing if you can find comfort in that discomfort. We're only here for another 15 seconds or so. So stay with the breath. See if you can find more length in the breath. Send the breath to the feet. Coming back into tabletop. It can be quite nice just to pat the tops of the feet on the floor here. And then planting the hands, tucking the toes under, lifting the hips up, finding downward facing dog. And be quite gentle with yourself in this downward dog. So keep a nice deep bend in the knees. You can stay on the balls of the feet. Maybe starting to extend as we're here. And inhaling, the right leg lifts. Exhale, bringing the right knee to the right wrist. Right ankle. You can take it in towards the hip to start with. That left leg is going long and straight out the back of the body. So if you do have a bit more space in the legs, you can start to walk that left foot so it becomes parallel with the top edge of the mat. Now if you're finding your right hip is miles away from the floor, again, pop the block underneath the butt and support yourself that way. And then exhale, folding forward, finding your posture. But again, only coming to that point where you first start to feel change in the body. We are here for 2 minutes. You have got time. Now, if you do have problems with your knees, or if this is just feeling unbearably uncomfortable, come out and come to lying on your back. And bringing the right knee in, then crossing the right ankle over the left knee, and just gently hugging that left thigh in towards the body, right elbow pushing onto the right knee. You can either keep the hand beneath the thigh or take it around the shin. But wherever you are, really focusing on finding that point of stillness. Seeing if you can just come to the breath. And really sending the breath into the psoas. You're over halfway through this posture now. So Yin works more with the connective tissues in the body. So a Yang exercise like running, cycling, swimming, aerobics, jiu-jitsu, all of that is working with the Yang muscles. Whereas with Yin, we're working with the ligaments and the tissues. So these areas are much, much more sensitive and much, much more delicate. So they take a long time to open up. They also take a long time to close. So when you are moving in and out of postures, just really make sure you're moving slowly. I mean, it can also feel like you're about 85, so, treat with care. And when you're ready, really slowly, really carefully, pushing yourself up, tucking those back toes under, and stepping back into downward facing dog. And just taking stock here, noticing if one side feels different to the other. Taking a few breaths. And inhaling, the left leg lifts. Exhale, bringing that left knee to the left wrist. Right foot can come, again, it can either come in towards that hip, or you can take the right leg parallel. And again, if you are finding that the left butt cheek is miles away from the floor, block or blanket just underneath to support you there. And again, if you took figure 4, so lying down on the other side, make sure you do the same on this side. And just finding that place where you can be comfortable but uncomfortable. Starting to slow down the mind. We find a lot in daily life now, it's just so busy and so hectic all the time. So actually creating these moments of stillness are a rarity because we're in Yang all of the time. But Yin does give an opportunity to switch the nervous system from that sympathetic state to that parasympathetic state. And that's where the healing really happens. If you're not really feeling this, you can start to walk the hands over towards the right, away from the left knee. And you'll feel that much more along the back hip. But noticing if you're super rounding here, seeing if you can breathe and extend the spine. And exhale, almost lifting the ribcage up and over. Well over halfway through this posture now, only another 30 seconds to go. So Yin in particular, I think it's really one of those practices where you do learn that everything is temporary, even the posture, even though it might not feel like it at the time. Again, just seeing if you can send the breath to that area of sensation. And seeing if you can sit with the crescendos of sensation here, noticing the changes in the body, noticing what the breath does to the body. And your next inhale, pushing in with the hands, pressing the hands down, tucking those back toes under and stepping back into your downward facing dog. High onto the balls of the feet and just gently walking through, coming to sit and coming to lie all the way down on the ground. Hugging knees into chest. And again, just taking stock here, maybe taking a gentle scan of the body and just seeing where you're at. Coming into happy baby. So bending the knees, taking your hand around the outside of the foot, elbow comes to the inside of the leg, on one or both sides. So it's almost like you're pressing your feet up onto the ceiling. And really just let go here. So the thing with Yin, like I said, we're not engaging those muscular activities like the Yang muscles. Really you're trying to see how much you can surrender, how much you can let gravity really take hold of the pose for you. How much you can just release your body. Notice what you're doing with your jaw, whether you've been clenching or grinding the teeth. One thing I like to do, particularly coming to the end of a practice, is just over-articulate the vowels. So A, E, I, O, U. You're like A, E, I, O, U. You can release the tension in the jaw. Next inhale, hugging both knees into the chest. Bringing the arms out into a T. And two options here. You can either bring both knees over to one side, or you can extend that left leg along on the mat and guide the right knee across the chest. Gaze goes out over right fingertips. If you find your knee is super high away from the floor, again just pop some blocks under there or a blanket. But seeing if you can keep both shoulder blades down on the mat. And again, the higher your knee is, the more you're going to feel this in your lower back. The further the knee is away from the body, the less strain it's going to put on your lower back. But again, not forcing the pose, not forcing the body. Just allowing the body to be. Just allowing yourself to be. Inhale, coming back into center. And same thing on the other side. So if you did extend that leg, it's the right leg that will go long. Left hand out to the side and just gently guiding that right knee across. Maybe it comes to the floor, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you pop a blanket underneath. And gaze just over towards the left. Or up towards the ceiling if that's uncomfortable for your neck. And with each breath, just seeing if you're able to sink a little bit deeper into the ground. If you're able to let any sort of tension just ebb away from the body. Inhale, coming back into center, hugging both knees into the chest. And maybe bringing the forehead to the knees and taking a squeeze. And then releasing down, coming to our final pose, our Shavasana. So if you do want a blanket or something to cover yourself, grab that. Otherwise, allow the legs to come long on the mat. If you do have a twitchy lower back, bend the knees, support the back. If you're happy to have the legs long, have them long. Allow the palms to either come out either side of you, palms facing up, or you can bring a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. And take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more like this, in through the nose, let, out through the mouth, go. So finding this Shavasana, our final resting pose. And this is where the body really assimilates everything that we've just done. So it's really important to let the nervous system reset. Again, with every breath, just seeing if you can sink a little bit deeper, let go a little bit more. And if you have the time, please feel free to take as long a Shavasana as you wish. But I will leave you here. Thank you for joining my practice today, for your energy and for your time. Namaste.